Prague, the city of 100 spires and the bustling capital of the Czech Republic, there is so much to see in this dynamic city. In this guide, we're covering it all, sharing the best landmarks, the most scenic squares, hidden gems, free viewpoints, and everything in between. So sit back, hit that like button, and we'll walk through the top things you need to do and see when you visit Prague.
No trip to Prague is complete without taking a stroll across the city's famous Charles Bridge. This massive stone walkway was finished over 600 years ago and is one of the area's most defining structures. Lined with 30 statues that provide both shade and culture, this might be one of Europe's prettiest bridges. And with it stretching out to be nearly 5 football fields in length, it's a monument to sound engineering and cultural craftsmanship. This was the only bridge connecting the east and west side of the city for centuries, and the statues here tell the story of some of Prague's most celebrated heroes. It's said that if you rub some of the worn golden parts of the plaques, your wishes will come true. So make sure you got a good one lined up. This bridge is also flanked by some massive Gothic towers, which are some of the most iconic structures in the city.
I was also here for New Year's several years ago, and the town puts on quite the display of professional and improvisational fireworks. So even if you're here in the dog days of winter, it's still an impressive sight to see. Just a short walk away is the next item on our list, and that's the Old Town Square. After walking through the city's Gothic Powder Gate Tower, you'll stroll down medieval streets until you enter one of Europe's most striking squares. This Old Town Square might be the most postcard-ready location in Prague. Flanked by colorful row houses and filled with intricate statues, this really is a one-of-a-kind spot in the city. Some of the key landmarks here are this church, which is one of the city's Gothic marbles, complete with its pointy mini spires. It almost has a diabolical Disney villain look to it. The other main structure in the Old Town Square is the Old Town Hall building. And while you can purchase tickets to climb its tower, its main attraction is actually visible free of charge from right outside. And that's the astronomical clock. This is the oldest working astronomical clock in the whole world. It puts on a small mechanical performance at the top of each hour. The statues surrounding the clock face symbolically represent different topics, so there's much more to them than these seemingly silly statues. The next spot to see in Prague is the beautiful Wenceslas Square. This is one of the city's most charming walkways and is home to one of the prettiest shopping streets in the area. The square is capped by Prague's beautiful National Museum, which is arguably one of the most picture-perfect buildings in the whole city. If you look closely at the museum's columns, you'll see some poorly matched patch jobs, which, believe it or not, were actually intentional. While Czech craftsmen were filling in the Soviet bullet holes, they incorrectly colored the plaster so locals would never forget the damage caused by the communists. And while the pre-Soviet architecture in the museum was thankfully spared, right beside the more historic museum is the blocky Soviet-era museum, which many feel is an eyesore on the otherwise artisanal square. But hey, at least there's McDonald's out front, so take that, you commies. Anyways, in addition to the museum, this is one of the most picture-perfect streets in Prague and has been an important gathering spot for Czechs for hundreds of years. It actually was the site of many important gatherings during the Velvet Revolution. At the top of the square is a statue of King Wenceslas, which is one of the most famous statues in Prague. You might know King Wenceslas from the iconic Christmas carol about him, or you might not. How should I have any way of knowing what you know? The next spot you need to visit is this charming arcade. Being tucked beneath the buildings lining Wenceslas Square, many travelers miss out on seeing this Art Nouveau masterpiece. Originally designed as a hockey stadium, the architects instead built this charming indoor shopping street, complete with a movie theater and one of the strangest sculptures in the whole city. This is a fun spot to go for a quick stroll in the area. Just across the street is yet another shopping arcade, complete with an authentic Czech cafe, serving up Czech dishes in a local style. You can find this beneath the iconic Tesla stained glass window, which was built in the 1930s for the now defunct Tesla radio company. So no relation to Mr. Musk here. This is one of the spots we feature in our Prague food tour, where we walk through some of the most delicious local eats in Prague and the best foods to try, so be sure you're subscribed so you can see that video as well. This also connects to the nearby Franciscan Park, which is a tranquil escape from this bustling area. Here, you'll find a beautiful garden that takes you off the main streets and is a quaint spot to relax in this busy city. We enjoyed just strolling the gardens and taking in the stunning architecture and well-maintained shrubberies. Oh, and a huge shout out to my sister Grace. Congrats on the engagement. And if you're listening, I'm going to save you a fortune on your honeymoon with a Going membership. For those that don't know, Going's an insanely powerful platform that finds unbelievable flight deals to near anywhere on Earth and is the partner for today's video. They're even giving away free flight deals right now, so drop where you want to travel to in the comments below and their team will follow up. With Going, we're able to set our home airport and ideal travel dates, and bam, the Going team finds crazy low flights to top destinations which almost always pay for themselves a few times over. And that's with just the first flight booking. And these aren't Deals, where you save $15 in exchange for like a 20-hour layover. Every deal is reviewed by a real person who checks the routing, fare class, layovers, and overall value. So when you get an alert, you know it's actually worth your time. Going's free plan covers domestic deals, and their premium tiers include international deals, plus mistake fares and points and mile optimization opportunities. And boy, do they deliver. Seriously, they often find deals that are 40 to 90% off on top airlines. No more scrolling through endless websites or wondering if you should wait for a better price. Going tells you the best time to book and the reason why. Plus, I like that unlike other travel sites that push certain airlines or earn kickbacks, the Going team actually exists to get you the best deals. So if you want to save around $550 on your next international trip, Going is one of the easiest ways to do it. Check the link in the description and start finding better flight deals today. Huge thanks to Going. Now let's jump back to Prague.
Just a 10-minute walk from this park is the next item on our list, and that's Prague's Municipal House. This is one of Prague's most impressive Art Nouveau buildings, and is a masterpiece both inside and out. While you can explore a small section of this historical behemoth for free, you can also purchase tickets for a guided tour, where you can see the more intricate details in the iconic Art Nouveau style. Alternatively, there's a box office where you can purchase tickets to attend shows and classical concerts inside, which we've heard is a great experience as well. Oh, and if you're a foodie, there are bars and restaurants both in its foyer and in the basement, which can be a perfect spot to soak up the Art Nouveau atmosphere while enjoying some somewhat spency eats. Even if you aren't looking for fine dining, we enjoyed just pumping our heads in, marveling at the chandeliers and early 1900s stylings. Alright, one of the top things to see when visiting Prague is the city's iconic castle. Perched on a picturesque cliff overlooking the city, Prague's castle is by some counts considered to be the largest castle complex in the world. And with a title like that, this place is packed with history. The rulers of this area governed from this spot for over 1,000 years, and it's one of the prettiest stretches in the city. The castle complex is quite large, and you can easily spend 2 to 3 hours wandering here. If you can, try to time your visit with the changing of the guard ceremony. This happens at noon daily and is quite the performance. Here, in the first courtyard towards the top of the hill, soldiers dressed in traditional military dresses march into the square. As they arrive, they'll perform a choreographed routine to prove their readiness as the new guard. This is all complete with an accompanying musical performance, with the military band sounding proudly from the windows overhead. The whole performance lasts about 15 minutes and is a lively free event to watch. And while you can see the changing of the guard for free, if you want to enter some of the more beautiful structures in the compound, you'll need tickets. We recommend purchasing the standard circuit ticket, which offers you entrance to most of the area's top attractions. There's a ticket booth right across from the entrance to the cathedral, where you can purchase same-day tickets.
The first spot you can enter is the Cathedral of St. Vitus. This massive Gothic masterpiece started construction nearly 700 years ago and is one of the most impressive buildings in all the Czech Republic. As you enter, you'll notice brilliant stained glass windows with surprisingly vibrant colors. All of this casts colorful light on the incredibly intricate ornamentation and paintings that adorn these stone walls. You can slowly explore these hallowed halls and reflect on the masses, coronations, and stately funerals that have been held here for centuries. There are several little areas you can pop your head into, and the interior design really makes this a Czech masterpiece. After you leave the cathedral, it's also worth taking a stroll around its large perimeter. As you walk, you can take in the beautiful Gothic architecture that's as beautiful on the outside as it is on the inside. In addition to the delicate stonework, the walk around lets you marvel at different details on its walls, as well as fountains and statues in the surrounding courtyards. Legend has it that all the stone gargoyles surrounding the exterior are said to represent the devil, but are actually based on real locals the artist knew. So just one more reason why you should never offend a Czech sculptor. Just next to the cathedral is the next spot you need to explore here, and that's the Old Royal Palace. When you enter the Old Royal Palace, you'll see a large empty stone hall. This 550-year-old chamber was a modern engineering marvel with royal coronations and jousting tournaments taking place beneath these fabled vaulted ceilings. And while this is impressive, it isn't actually the main sight to see here. If you enter the small passage near the entrance of the palace, you'll actually make your way through some small rooms and eventually to a very small window. This is the exact location where the city's famous defenestration of Prague occurred. Defenestration literally means to throw out a window, and that's exactly what happened here. In 1618, 3 Catholics were thrown out of this very window by angry locals. And despite it being quite the fall, they somehow all walked away nearly unharmed, which still puzzles historians to this day. And while this might seem like a crazy fluke in history, Prague has actually seen 3 famous defenestrations throughout its long history. So consider biting your tongue if you're ever in an argument with an angry Czech near an open window. Just kidding. Well, sort of. Anyways, After nearly falling to my peril at the hands of Courtney, you can slowly explore the other rooms of the palace. One of the most interesting is this one, which is famous for its colorful painted crests on the ceiling. This section also houses a small library and was one of our favorite rooms in the entire old palace. After wandering this room, there are a few other sections to explore. You can pop into some royal rooms, which house replicas of the crown jewels, as well as other famous paintings.
After the royal palace, if it's a hot day, you might want to pop in for a rest in St. George's Basilica, which is located just as you exit the old royal palace. This is the second church in the castle complex and is much more intimate than the towering cathedral. Here you can rest your weary legs in the pews and slowly take in the subtle details of this charming church. With it being a relatively small structure, chances are you'll only spend 5 to 10 minutes admiring this section of the castle before heading to the final spot on the main circuit. The last spot on your ticket grants you entrance to several other little galleries in the castle walls. Here you can pop your head into several small exhibitions that line a fairy tale looking street. One of the most extensive is the armory, where you can browse a large collection of suits of armor. Here, you can try shooting an actual crossbow, or if you're like Michael, just admire all the snazzy helmets and try to pretend you're a knight. We probably spent just 15 minutes or so here, and it felt like a nice cap on a day of exploring this area.
Next up, it's a great time to visit the Lennon Wall. This is nearby the castle and is probably one of the most photographed murals in the city. This graffiti-filled stretch is constantly evolving, with locals continuously painting over the existing art. This wall also inspired many young Czechs to rebel against the communists in the 80s, so there is some history behind the chaotic, colorful clutter. Say that 5 times fast. And while we felt the mural itself wasn't necessarily a must-see, we thought the surrounding area was absolutely charming. The streets around here almost feel like they're straight out of Beauty and the Beast, with colorful houses and cozy canal-side cafes. Though some of the cafes are guarded by some weird-looking statues, so be warned. Anyways, being just a 3-minute walk to the Charles Bridge, this is a must-see spot when in Prague. For the next thing on our list is to take a Rick Steves audio walking tour of the city.
Let me just say, we are in no way affiliated with Rick Steves, but we wish we were. And we found his free audio walking tours to be one of the best ways to experience a new city. Seriously, one of our favorite feelings in the world is traveling to a new city and waking up the next day with a fresh Rick Steves audio tour. Basically, with the app downloaded on your phone, you can pop in an earbud and follow along as he shares a story behind some of the most scenic strolls in the city. We loved the Rick Steves app in Prague because we felt it weaved us through the little spots we might have otherwise missed, as well as shared local tidbits and jokes that kept us entertained. The Prague walking tour is roughly 2 to 3 hours long, depending on how fast you walk, and was one of our favorite things we did in the Czech Republic. So if you're looking for an easy way to see many of the best sights in an efficient manner without breaking the bank, definitely consider it. Next on our list is to taste the city like a local. As we mentioned earlier, Prague is home to some hearty Czech dishes and tasty eats, and eating some local cuisine is a must when visiting. While we cover our favorite dishes in our Prague food tour, there's one additional way to taste Prague the real way, and that's drinking some Czech beer. Czechs drink the most beer per capita, and we couldn't get over the impressive beer culture that lives in this city. And while we're occasionally teetotalers when we don't feel like drinking when we travel, with beer often being cheaper than water in Prague, we certainly threw back a few Pilsners. The name Pilsner comes from the Czech town of Pilsen, where the first pale lager, or Pilsner, was brewed.
So drink up, me hearties, yo-ho! But please drink responsibly. See store for details. Not responsible for anyone under 21 drinking. And while that covers most of the top things to do in Prague, there's a few honorable mentions if you have the time. You can explore the Jewish Quarter, which has some impressive synagogues, or if you're visiting in the summer, you can also rent a paddle boat to explore the river, which we've heard is quite scenic. And hey, if you really like this video, it really helps out our channel if you hit that like button, leave us a comment, and subscribe to check out more of our videos. We have similar travel videos from all over the world, and we're releasing other Prague videos and some awesome travels from Europe, Asia, and all over the world next. So be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.